In this video, I'll be talking about psychosis as an expression of spiritual awakening and what it means to have such an experience. Hey Seekers, and welcome to another video. I know that some of you may be aware that I've had psychotic breaks and spiritual awakenings. I found it hard to get a hold of resources that were helpful for me in my experiences. So I figured I would make a video about what psychosis is, what a spiritual awakening is, and other important relevant information regarding those kinds of experiences. What a psychotic break or a psychosis is essentially a break from reality to such a degree that it makes someone non-functional in the physical reality that we live in. That can mean a lot of different things. That means that you're accessing different kinds of information, different kinds of dimensions possibly. And so that can result in a lot of spiritual awakenings, and sometimes spiritual awakenings can trigger psychoses. So what a spiritual awakening is essentially a paradigm shift in your thought or understanding of how the world works. So this definition covers small awakenings, small changes that happen maybe on a daily basis, as well as some major shifts such as psychotic breaks, enlightening experiences, and altered states and other things like that. How do these two different things interact? When talking about psychosis and breaks from reality, people say that it's delusional or it's hallucinations and things like that, which on some level is true because it's not relevant to consensus reality environment in which you may be living in. And so that's why people say that, because they're viewing that experience from the context of their own 3D or physical experience. So the person going through a psychosis is experiencing different dimensions, different aspects of themselves. There are a few different aspects that could happen in a psychosis. One of them could be the internal dream experience. So we all have the outer experience that we all have together that is consensus reality, is essentially like a mass dream. Like we're all having the same experience physically, and we all sort of see the same things. And then we have our inner dream, which is on one level our lens of seeing the world, but also our own paradigms, our own thought patterns, our own emotional patterns. It's sort of like our archetype or our container that holds all of us. And so when we retreat into that, and we only are connected to that aspect, but not so much the external aspect that we're in the mass dream, then that creates some kind of separation from what is actually going on in the physical aspect, and we're only tuned into our own inner aspect. And so that can create some problems. It can create some revelations, some understandings, some deeper understandings of ourselves. And a lot of people report a lot of insightful information, a lot of insightful wisdom that they gain from their experiences. And that's not something to be discredited. And to those people that are experiencing psychotic breaks and spiritual awakenings that people don't understand from this 3D physical realm, those experiences are very real to the people that are going through them. I know for me, everything that I went through was very real to me, and it still is very real to me. And a lot of who I am today is a result of some of those experiences that I had. But the most important thing when having gone through an experience like this is to make sure that you can process that information, integrate that information or that experience, and bring it down to the physical realm. Bring it down into your body and ground that information. Because the problem is when we're in a state that we are no longer functional in this world, then it's not, first of all, it's not healthy, it's not productive, and you're not going to be able to embody what you're learning in those experiences. And so I know there's some people who are spiritual junkies, I guess, is they're always looking for some kind of intense sort of psychosis or interdimensional experience or something that sort of breaks the veil and allows them to experience something otherworldly. And that's great, but if you're not able to process and integrate all those experiences and bring them into your physical body, you're just escaping from reality. And I understand that some people live in multiple realities at once, and that's great. But it still is important to have that tether, that tie down to this reality, to be able to function, to be able to bring all that wisdom and insight that you're experiencing in the voyages and journeys that you're having. But it's important to bring it down to earth, to your body, to be able to actually work with it and help people and help yourself in this world. Also know that the most important thing in this existence is to be able to function here on the planet. And so if you're doing journeys, if you're doing experiences that prevent you from being able to be functional, that's a problem. And you need to make sure you're addressing that, because if you keep on doing experiences and sort of pushing the limits, you're playing with fire. And I've had two psychotic breaks, and I can tell you they're not something I would wish on anybody else. And so if you haven't had a psychotic break, or you haven't had some kind of intense spiritual awakening, that's okay. And I do not recommend that you seek out something like that, because it's something that can be very disruptive, very, very disruptive. And it's great to be a spiritual seeker. It's great to try to understand how the world works and how we're connected to the universe and how we're connected to all different kinds of things, and really develop our intuition and stuff like that. But it's another thing to seek out really hardcore, intense experiences that may result in some negative consequences and some pretty painful and difficult experiences to integrate. So when you're looking for experiences like that, I warn you, it's your choice to go on those journeys or not. But I just send out a word of caution, because from my own experiences, it's not something to be played with. It needs to be done in a way that is safe and at a rate you can handle, because once that door is open, it's very hard to close it. Again, my next video will be about grounding these experiences, grounding and bringing these experiences back to your body. And if anything resonated for you today, think about liking or commenting. I have lots of different videos that I talk about creating space for yourself, as well as developing your intuition, and there's so much more to come. So keep an eye on my channel, because I'll be posting videos every week. And as always, take time to find your truth and make space for yourself.